Right, so hello and welcome back to another Reddit video. Today we're looking at more of the top posts of the week from r/EntitledParents. Entitled mother wants me to drop a student to tutor her son. So in the UK, we just finished mock exams for the year 11s, 15 to 16 year olds, and as predicted, due to the missed school, a lot of them didn't do so well. So I've had calls from concerned parents about helping their kids. I tell them all that I'm currently fully booked and may be adding in more sessions from January 2021, so I'll put you on the waiting list. 99% of parents appreciate this and they know that they came to me too late. Except from one. She demanded that I find a slot for her son who is failing his English. She said that because she knows my family, she should be higher on the waiting list. She actually said she knew my parents, as if I'm not in my 30s and running my own business. She also said that I should drop one of my other students for her son. She heard that I have international students and they're obviously not as important as her son, since he needs to do his GCSEs. So do they actually, just the international ones. For 15 minutes on the phone she ranted at me, trying to guilt me and wouldn't let me talk. Finally, when she was all tuckered out, I told her that as she couldn't respect me as a professional, we wouldn't be able to work together, and I wished her the best for the future. She is now blocked and apparently telling other parents that I refuse to help Somali kids because I'm an outsider. Even though I'm Somali, the whole conversation was in Somali, and she claimed to know my family. I don't think I've ever heard someone pull the race card on someone the same race as them before. It's always something new with these entitled nutcases. Entitled parent calls cops on me and veterinarian for proving I'm the legal owner of my own rabbit. So before I start this story, I'll tell you that the rabbit in the story was extremely tame. She was kicked out of the nest, so I had to bottle feed her for a couple of weeks. She was loyal and she listened to me like a dog. This made it so that I would be able to walk with her in public and even forests without her fleeing from me. Although she always had a harness on when I walked with her and I had a leash. So, on to the story. So I was walking with my rabbit to the veterinarian to get her bi-yearly anti-coccidia shot because she had gotten it at a young age and it was the best way to prevent a secondary infection. When I was not even 5 minutes away from the vet, an entitled mum and her entitled kid walked by. The kid suddenly tried to pick up my rabbit. She only allowed me to do it and bit everyone else who almost succeeded. She luckily got away from the entitled kid and ran towards me and started stomping. The entitled mother walked up to me and said, "Thank you for stopping my kid's rabbit." Absolutely dumbfounded by this reaction, I instantly picked my rabbit up and put the leash on her harness, just in case. "Excuse me," I said, "his rabbit?" "Yes," said the entitled mother, "his rabbit. Now hand him over." "Wait, what gender did you say it was?" I asked. The rabbit was female. "A boy," said the entitled mother. "Now hand him over before I call the cops." Having chipped my rabbit in case this exact thing happened, I replied, "So I can tell you won't leave me alone. Let's head to the veterinarian to check if she's chipped and then we'll know who her owner is." "Actually, it's a he," said the entitled mother, "and I don't accept this. Just hand him over or I'll call the cops." "The cops will tell you the exact same thing I just did if I tell them she's chipped, and we'll also go to the veterinarian to check." I started walking to the veterinarian with my rabbit held tightly to my body. The entitled mother and the entitled kid started following me. At the veterinarian's clinic, I check in my rabbit for her appointment and don't even have to wait a second because of the delay I got dealing with the entitled mother and her entitled kid. So the veterinarian then asks me why I brought the entitled mother and the entitled kid. I can't even start my sentence because the entitled mother yells, "It's not his rabbit, it's my son's." "Oh," replied the veterinarian, "I see. I'll get the chip reader to check the legal owner." My rabbit's chip is controlled and the veterinarian asks for all of our IDs, and surprise surprise, I come out as the legal owner. The entitled mother and the entitled kid angrily walk out of the clinic, and the veterinarian and I start the appointment. I was about to leave when a couple of cops and someone from the wildlife ambulance walk in with the entitled mother and the entitled kid. "So," says the cop, "we've got a report of a stolen rabbit." The veterinarian instantly says that this is a false report. We've already read the chip and found the person who's the legal owner. The wildlife ambulance man then says that's why I'm here. "It's good that you say you've already checked the chip," says the wildlife ambulance man, "so I'll do the same from a neutral position." The vet and I instantly accept this and let him check, but the entitled mother intervened. The wildlife man says, "Ma'am, if you don't let me do my job, you'll be charged with struggling against procedure." The entitled mother says, "But in the time it took for you to come, they could have implanted a chip for this very reason." "Ma'am," replied the wildlife man, "it takes 1 hour to implant and put in the correct data for that. Let me do my job." The chip and everyone's IDs get checked, and guess what happened? I was found to be the legal owner. Also, I got asked to press charges, which I happily did. On top of that, I got compensation that was almost enough to cover the appointment. The end. How cruel do you have to be to try and steal someone's pet from them? I hope she got charged with attempted theft after that. What an absolute psycho. Entitled mother thinks her child is the exception to the no children allowed rule for a live audio recording. For context, I used to work for a church as an audio technician and just a general hand for weekend services and things. A few years ago, the church pulled enough money together to record a live worship session to put on sale. It was a really important thing that had been in the works for months, and in case you didn't know, really expensive to do. So the decision was made to not allow children under the age of 12 into this recording service, under the logic that kids that young can't be quiet the entire night, with the entire crowd being recorded with a ton of microphones. This rule was advertised well in advance. So I was standing at the main entrance, welcoming people and explaining what to expect when I see the entitled mother walk up with her kids. "Excuse me, ma'am, but children under a certain age aren't allowed into the service tonight. We do, however, have activities and alternative arrangements ready for them in the other building." What?" she replied. I explained again, whilst getting stared at. "But my kids are really mature and grown up. They'll be fine, don't worry," she said, trying to end the conversation. "Ma'am," I said, still somehow being polite, "that could probably be true, but if I let your children in, I'd have to let the other children in, who wouldn't be, and they could ruin the recording. I have to apply the rule equally." "I don't care about other people's kids," said the entitled mother. "I want my kids with me." At this point, she sees my supervisor walking to the door to the audio booth right next to me. "Hey, supervisor, your employee won't let my kids come in, but you know they're fine, right?" No, replied my supervisor. "You know the rules for tonight. He's right, they can't come in." The entitled mother then looks at us both, absolutely fuming. "Well, if they can't come in, then we are going home." "That is certainly your right," we replied. The entitled mother then storms away with embarrassed kids, and we went on with the night without a care in the world. As a side note, the CD turned out great, and the church raised a lot of money for charity with it. The classic entitled parent, thinking their kid is better than everyone else's and that they deserve special treatment. Hypocrite neighbour thinks he can tow my car. So in the building where me and my family live, there's a parking lot underneath it. All of the parking spots are rented and taken, except from 2 spots at the side of the entrance. All of the building have agreed that this is a free parking spot for people who live in the building and don't have rented spots, like children who have cars and can't park where their parents park. Basically, it's a matter of first come, first serve in those 2 spots. So I was coming back from taking out the trash when I was confronted by my entitled neighbour. "Is your car parked at the entrance?" said my neighbour. "Yes, it is," I said. "Is something wrong?" "Yes, something's wrong," said my entitled neighbour. "I have trouble coming in and out of the lot because of you. You're blocking the path." "No, I'm not," I replied, knowing it's not true. "It's an agreed parking spot. If I parked incorrectly, then I can go check it." "You need to leave that parking spot," replied the entitled neighbour. "My kids are coming over, and they need a place to park." "Wait, what?" I replied. "You're telling me to leave that parking spot just so your kids, who don't even live here, can come over?" "No, I'm not going to leave." "You kids are so disrespectful," said the entitled neighbour. "I'm 21, by the way. You all park like it's Chicago up in here. I'm going to call a tow truck on you if you don't move your car right now." "Whatever," I said. "Bye." "You have until Sunday," warned my entitled neighbour. I went back to my apartment, and now I'm waiting till Sunday to see if he'll do it. You know, if the neighbour had said that OP's parking meant that he couldn't get in, he might have had a point, but asking him to leave it so that his own kid could take the space was just never going to work. I wonder if that tow truck ever did come. Anyway, that is unfortunately all we have time for today. If you enjoyed this video and you want to make sure you catch the next one, make sure you're subscribed down below so you don't miss out. Thank you for watching and listening, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye for now.